Hello everyone, my name is Sam Dooley, and in this video I will use the Equalize editor to answer the questions in a basic quiz worksheet for elementary arithmetic and pre-algebra, which is appropriate for 5th grade students. First, I use a browser to access the Equalize editor website, lakepinesbraille.com/ee. I'm using Google Chrome, but you may use other browsers as well. As a student, I could start with a blank document to create my answers, but for this video, I will add my answers directly to the quiz worksheet prepared by the teacher. To begin, I use File, Open to open a dialog to select the local folder that contains the quiz worksheet. Then I select the file and press Open. As a Braille reader, I should now be able to read Quiz 1 on my Braille device. I can use my computer keyboard or my Braille keyboard to type in Braille. To use my computer keyboard, I type Control-H and use the home row keys ASDF and JKL semicolon as the Braille keys for dots 7321 and dots 4568, respectively. To use my Braille keyboard, I type Control-R on my computer keyboard and use the Braille keys on my Braille device to enter Braille symbols. For this video, I will use Control-H to enter Braille using my computer keyboard. I read Quiz 1 and press down arrow to read Grade 5, and then again twice to read Answer the following 5 questions. I press down arrow until I read Question 1, 2.5 plus 7.18 equals question mark. When I'm ready to enter my answer, I press down arrow to go to the blank line after Question 1, where I read a full Braille cell where I can enter my answer. I type dots 456, 146 for the open Nemeth indicator, and notice that the editor supplies the closed Nemeth indicator as part of the math formula. Typing the open Nemeth indicator is the same as using Control-M to open a math formula. I type number sign 9.68 as my answer to question 1. In this case, if you forget to type the numeric indicator, the editor will supply it for you. I type dots 456, 156 for the closed Nemeth indicator to finish my answer for question 1. Typing the closed Nemeth indicator is the same as using Control-M to close a math formula. I type dot 8 to create a new blank line, and my answer to question 1 is complete. I press down arrow until I read question 2, 3/4 plus 1/2 equals question mark. When I'm ready, I press down arrow to go to the blank line after question 2 and the full Braille cell where I can enter my answer. I type dots 456, 146 for the open Nemeth indicator to open a math formula. I type dots 1456 for the open fraction indicator, and notice that the editor supplies the open fraction indicator, the fraction slash, and the closed fraction indicator. The input cursor, dots 7 and 8, displays below the full cell for the numerator, where I type 5. I type dots 3, 4 for the fraction slash, and notice the input cursor moves below the full cell for the denominator, where I type 4. I type dots 456, 156 to close the math formula, and dot 8 to create a new blank line. I press down arrow until I read question 3. How do you graph the point 5, 2? When I'm ready, I press down arrow to go to the blank line after question 3 and the full Braille cell where I can enter my answer. For this answer, I will enter contracted Unified English Braille for my answer for question 3, but to save time, I will copy and paste most of the text of my answer. From the origin, move 5 units left. That left should read move 5 units right. I can use any UEB contractions that I happen to remember, or I can allow the editor to supply them as I type each word, and when I make a mistake, I use dot 7 to backspace and try again. So I backspace the word left, type dot 5R, and then space to enter the word right. From the origin, move 5 units right and sign 2 UNITS up. Dots 256 for the final period, and dot 8 to move to the next line. I use dots 3, 4, 5, 6 to enter a UEB upper cell number as an alternative to using the Nemeth open and close indicators to enter the number as a math formula. I use UEB punctuation dot 2 for a comma and dots 256 for period. I've typed .8 to create a new blank line to complete my answer to question 3. Now I press down arrow until I read question 4. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals question mark. When I'm ready, I press down arrow to go to the blank line after question 4, and I read the full Braille cell where I'm ready to type my answer. I start by typing dots 456, 146 to open a math formula. To show my work, I want to enter the formula 9 plus 16, and now I want to say that 9 plus 16 equals 25. And so I have to enter the Nemeth equal sign, dots 46, dots 13, before I enter 25. You do not need to type the Braille spaces before and after the equal sign, as they are supplied by the editor. I type dots 456, 156 to close the math formula, and dot 8 to create a blank line. I press down arrow until I read question 5, square root of 81. For this question, I will replace the omission symbol in the question with my answer. I press right arrow until 78 appears by itself underneath the omission symbol, and I enter my answer 9, which replaces the omission symbol. I type dots 456, 156 to close the math formula, and dot 8 to create a new blank line. Several questions on this worksheet could have been entered in place of the omissions indicator in this same way. Finally, to save the worksheet, I use File, Save As to open a dialog where I can select a local folder and enter a new file name to use to save the file, so I can keep the original teacher version of the worksheet without modifying it. I'm going to call this worksheet Quiz 1 Student. And when I have the file name that I want and the folder that I want, I press the Save button to save the worksheet. The name of the worksheet changes to Quiz 1 Student to indicate that we've saved the file under a new name. And so we have answered the questions in the basic worksheet and created a new document that can be returned to the teacher. We can read and or emboss our document in Braille, and our teacher can read our document visually using this same worksheet. Thank you for watching this video and for your interest in the Equalize editor. For more information about the Equalize editor, please visit the Lake Pines Braille website at lakepinesbraille.com.